Adam Smith was a keen observer of the world and a reader of history. His account of how economies develop drew heavily on his and others' observations on human progress through the centuries, along with his understanding of human nature. Smith's economic analysis is rich with empirical and historical observations and illustrations. Smith observed that the primary human need is for sustenance, food. He believed agriculture is naturally the initial sector of an economy to develop, before production of conveniency and luxury goods. Farms are established in the countryside before towns grow up. Once the land is cultivated and improved, food production is beyond that which is necessary to sustain the farmers. This surplus food becomes the sustenance of people living in the towns, and they in turn provide manufactured products for the countryside. A network of mutually beneficial trade develops between local farmers in the countryside and manufacturers and artisans in the towns. In Smith's words, the inhabitants of the town and those of the country are mutually the servants of one another. Smith thought that trade begins locally because the cost of monitoring business affairs and transporting goods is lower than with more distant trade. His answer to complaints in our day about globalization might be that local commerce has this built-in advantage over global commerce. Trade patterns extend over longer distances only when more distant trade becomes advantageous. One such advantage is further specialization and division of labor. Depending on local circumstances, such as access to waterways and the difficulty or ease of overland transportation, trade patterns might remain mostly local or extend over long distances. This implies that incomes and growth will not be equal in all areas. Quoting Smith, "The town, indeed, may not always derive its whole subsistence from the country in its neighborhood, or even from the territory to which it belongs, but from very distant countries. And this, though it forms no exception from the general rule, has occasioned considerable variations in the progress of opulence in different ages and nations." Adam Smith thought there is a natural tendency for economic growth, for opulence, but the pace of growth in any area or nation depends on the extent of the market. This is influenced by circumstances such as geography, population density, and the manners and customs of a people and nation. The division of labor and trade and the accompanying increase in opulence and interdependence will not be uniform across or within communities, but all will benefit. Smith illustrated this with the woolen coat of a common laborer. This man's coat, as coarse and rough as it may appear, is the produce of the joint labor of a great multitude of workmen: the shepherd, the sorter of the wool comber or carder, the dyer, the scribbler, the spinner, the weaver, the fuller, the dresser, and many others must all join their different arts in order to complete even this homely production. So we learn from Adam Smith that the rising tide of economic development does not lift all boats equally, but it does indeed lift all boats.